couple weeks ago, my parents came to visit and my dad came in and he was like looking at my keyboards back here and he was just like, oh, you have a lot of keyboards. And for some reason, like more than asking a question, like more than like, why do you have a lot of keyboards or something like that, just that statement of fact, oh, you have a lot of keyboards, made me feel like way more self-conscious about having a bunch of keyboards for some reason. Anyways, we're gonna build another keyboard today. It all kind of started with these keycaps. These are the nice PBT Cannonkeys Tamagotchi licensed keycaps. This is a pretty well-rounded, well-featured set, so no matter what keyboard size you have, you should be covered. So if you have a full size or you have a TKL or a 75 or a 65, doesn't matter, whatever. So that's where we're at now. I recently picked up the Photon, I guess also the group I was through Cannonkeys. But when I got the Tamagotchi keycaps, I was like, oh, I want to build a board that kind of matches this like 90s aesthetic. So I was like, oh, what's a really 90s thing? Oh, I guess like clear plastic was kind of like the vibe back then. So I was waiting for just the right kind of, you know, polycarbonate plastic board to come along. And there's a bunch out there, but the Photon kind of appealed to me just because I kind of liked the overall look of it. And I wanted something in blue, like in this particular shade of blue. So this is the Photon, pretty basic kind of board, I guess, especially compared to the other stuff that I've been looking at recently. You know what's not in this box though? Stabilizers. So I had to go on a little bit of a jaunt over to Yushakobo in Akihabara to go pick up some stabilizers. I try not to leave my house all too often in the summertime just because it is so blazing hot, but I had no choice. I had to get stabilizers. A couple of months ago at work, I had to lead like this meeting. It was kind of like a weekly meeting, kind of rotate through people that kind of lead the meetings or whatever. And when it was my turn, I think like we're encouraged a little bit to kind of put like a personal spin on the meeting. You know, just keep it like a little interesting, just to kind of foster a nice little kind of company culture. So at the end of this meeting, I thought it'd be a good idea to try to build a keyboard with, you know, my coworkers, or I guess like the whole company. So after everything was done, I would kind of talk about like what goes into making a custom keyboard. So kind of introducing like what are the switches, like all the different keycap profiles there are, the different cases you can get, and that kind of thing. And then after that, I was like, oh, well, these are my extra keycaps, and these are my extra switches, and these are my extra cases or whatever. So let's build a keyboard together. Like, let's vote on what case you want to use, and let's vote on what keycaps we want to use, and whatever. And no one said anything, like barely anyone voted, like no one was like talking at all. So I was like, oh no, no one cares, no one gives a shit. And I think I might have just like labeled myself as like the one weird keyboard guy in the company. But the point I was trying to like make, or what I was trying to like explain about the keyboard hobby, is that you can really make something your own because you're in control of like all the parts. So you can start with keycaps, right? You can find a set that you like on the internet and you can be like, oh, I really like those. I want to make a keyboard with those caps. And then you can go and you'll find a case that matches those keycaps. So if you're getting into building a keyboard, or you want to build a new keyboard, like you can definitely try to choose your build. Like you can build your keyboard based off like colors, like, you know, base it off like what's your favorite color. Or you can go kind of what we're doing here with like a theme, like you're a really big Tamagotchi fan, so you want to build a Tamagotchi themed keyboard. Like I try to do that with a lot of my other keyboards. Like I try to go with a particular kind of vibe. Like when I built my Suisei inspired, like my VTuber Hoshimachi Suisei inspired keyboard, that keyboard is still like one of my favorite keyboards. I really haven't changed anything about that build like at all. Like I just like how it all came together. So, you know, you can go that route. How is this battery supposed to lay in here? Probably this way. That is not, that's actually really bad. Oh, I gotta fix that. Gotta get it in there. That's why I was pinching the battery. It's so dicey. Lithium batteries are terrifying, honestly. Okay, that looks good, right? No pinched lithium-ion battery. I guess we'll find out if it catches fire and I have a problem in my hand. Knock on wood, I guess. I get that. I guess mechanical keyboards is kind of a weird hobby. I mean, trying to explain it to people that aren't into keyboards is kind of weird, but in a weird way, it feels like a creative endeavor. Kind of, you know? I hate putting on like rubber feet myself, like sticky feet, because I always mess it up somehow. It's always off by like a little bit, and then it bothers me eternally. Well, let's pretend that I got it right the first time. All right, so it's all blue. The thing is, I didn't really need to go with blue switches. I just figured they would look nice in this case. But you know, if you want to go with switches that feel a certain way as opposed to look a certain way, then definitely do that. Because you know, once you have your keycaps on here, you're not going to see the switches, or at least not really. But if you're going to go all in on theming, then yeah, whatever, sure. Okay. Now we get to actually throw the thing that started this whole thing onto the keyboard, the keycaps. They're not translucent or anything, they're not like transparent. They're made of PBT, so they will hold up a little better to shine. Like if you have a lot of oils on your fingers or whatever, they're not gonna get really like shiny as fast. Depends on how oily your hands are though. I admittedly have some oily hands, so keycaps kind of get shiny fast, so whatever. I don't have F keys, so I'm not gonna need those. I do want some of the novelty keys though. I don't want a normal escape key. If we're gonna build a Tamagotchi themed keyboard, I want it to be Tamagotchi. Alright, there's a bunch of enter keys you can go with. You can go with your default, you know, enter key that just kind of looks like this. But, you know, if you're gonna go through the trouble of getting like a themed keycap set, I always like going with the novelties. So we're gonna go with this one. Also because poop is kind of funny. In this tray at the very bottom, you just get a fine selection of your novelties that kind of look like your different, I want to do that, that's a really bad idea. But yeah, you have a selection of just different keycaps of just different Tamagotchis. So if you have a favorite among these, then there's a bunch to choose from. But yeah, I want to use the Gokigen caps lock. But anyways, that is it. This is the completed build. So we have the keycaps, which to be honest are a little nicer than what I was kind of expecting. I wasn't sure how they were going to look on a board, but the blue of the keycaps kind of go with the blue of the keyboard. And all in all, pretty good. So yeah, I don't know. What I'm trying to say is like, if there's a keycap set that you like, just go build a keyboard, you know? If you like Tamagotchi, go build a Tamagotchi keyboard. If you like Gundam, go build a Gundam keyboard. If you like Lord of the Rings, go get a Lord of the Rings keyboard. It's kind of fun to just build a keyboard that is, you know, uniquely yours and kind of matches your hobbies and your interests and that kind of thing. And you get a certain satisfaction about just like building something yourself and then using it every day, you know? So yeah, I don't know. Go build a keyboard.